Good morning, Cyprus. Okay, I hope you've all had a lovely half term. So, moving on to a new subject area now. Starting a new learning journey. We're going to have a look at this book here. Okay, so we're doing a narrative. So it's all based around the book for the first 2 weeks. Okay, and you'll be having a written outcome at the end of this sequence. And I'll introduce this to you a little bit more tomorrow. But today I want to focus on the book and what you think it might be about. So I don't want to give you any clues by telling you our learning journey question or what your outcome is going to be. I just want to hear about what you think this might be about to start with. Okay, so there we go, making logical predictions about a text. So what you are going to be using to start with, I'm going to read you some of the book today, but what I want you to think about is from that front cover, okay, and from this little piece of information, which is a cutting from a newspaper that we get given before the first chapter. So, a rocket launched yesterday from a private site in northern China is missing. Yesterday, the internet was alive with rumours of a secret manned space mission. Today, NASA and the Russian Federal Space Agency both confirmed that the rocket did take off, but denied it was theirs. The rocket entered high orbit and then disappeared into deep space. No manned rocket has left Earth's orbit since Apollo 17 in 1972. Okay, so that's the bit of information that you've got. That is your front cover. And before we go any further, I want you to think about what do you think this book will be about? What are your predictions? Okay, and why? So in a moment, I want you to pause the video and I want you to just bullet point some ideas. You could either do a bullet point, you could a bullet point list, you could do a mind map, maybe just write Cosmic, the title in the middle, and then some ideas. What do you think it'll be about? And what are your predictions? Okay, and why? I want you to do that, and I want you to send the picture of that in as part of your work from today. So there is another activity to do, but that's the first thing I want you to do. Okay, so pause the video now and complete that activity. Okay, so hopefully you've got some information written down, and now what I want you to do is to listen to the first two chapters. So now, from then, what we know, I want you to think about what we know now. Okay, what do we now know after hearing this? Okay, so still thinking about predictions, still thinking about what the story might be about, what it's similar to, what you like about it, what you think you might dislike about it. Okay, I want you to think about all those things as we go through and listen to the first two chapters. They're really short. Okay. I'm not exactly in the Lake District. Mum, Dad, if you're listening, you know I said I was going to the South Lakeland Outdoor Activity Centre with the school? To be completely honest, I'm not exactly in the Lake District. To be completely honest, I'm more sort of in space. I'm on this rocket, the Infinite Possibility. I'm about 200,000 miles above the surface of Earth. I'm alright, ish. I know I've got some explaining to do. This is me doing it. I lied about my age. I sort of gave the impression I was about 30. Obviously, I'm more sort of 13-ish on my next birthday. To be fair, everyone knows about their age. Adults pretend to be younger, teenagers pretend to be older, children wish they were grown-ups, grown-ups wish they were children. It's not like I had to try very hard, is it? Everyone always thinks I'm older than I really am, just because I'm tall. In St Joan of Arc Primary, the teachers seemed to think the height and age were the same thing. If you were taller than someone, you must be older than them. If you're tall and you made a mistake, even if it was only your first day, you should know better, big lad like you. Why, by the way? Why should a big lad know better just because he's big? King Kong's a big lad. Would he know the way to the toilet block on his first day at school when no one had told him? No, I don't think he would. Anyway, a few hours back, the Infinite Possibility was supposed to complete a routine maneuver, and basically it didn't. It rolled out of orbit, wrecking all the communication equipment, and now I'm very lost in space. I've brought this mobile phone with me because it's got pictures of home on it. It's also got an audio diary function. That's what I'm talking into now. Talking makes me feel less lonely. Unless you get this message, you won't know about any of this, because this is a secret mission. They said if it goes wrong, they're going to deny all knowledge of it. And us. There's 5 of us on board. The others are all asleep. Can you believe that, by the way? We're in a rocket, spinning hopelessly out of control and into forever, and what is their chosen course of action? A nap? When we got the manoeuvre just slightly wrong, just slightly enough to make us completely doomed, they all screamed for about an hour, then they dozed off. I can't sleep. I can't get comfortable in sleeping bags because they're always too small for me. Plus, I think if I stay awake, I might have an idea and save us all. That's why I'm recording this on my Drax phone. If I do get home, I'm going to give it to you, and then you'll understand how I ended up in deep space when I said I was going pond dipping in the Lake District. If you are listening to this, though, and you're not my mum or dad, you're probably a pointy-headed, 90-legged, sucker-footed alien. In which case, can I just say, hello, I come in peace, and if you happen to have the technology, please post this phone to Mr. and Mrs. Digby, 23, Glenarm Close, Bootle, Liverpool, 22, England. The Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, etc., etc. If it's not too much trouble. Chapter 2. Completely doomed. The slightly worrying thing is I'm sort of enjoying this. Being doomed is not good, but being weightless is outstanding. Every time I lean forward, I do a perfect somersault. When I stretch my arms in the air, I levitate. Back on Earth, my only special skills are being above average in maths and height. Up here, I've got so many skills I'm practically a Power Ranger. Then there's the stars. On Earth, our house is right next to the New Strand shopping centre. The multi-storey blots out most of the sky. The only stars I ever really noticed were the ones on the It's Your Solar System glow-in-the-dark mobile I got when I was 9. And the only reason I noticed them was that they kept getting tangled in my hair. Mobiles do not make good presents for a person above average height. The stars look different from here. There's a lot more of them, for one thing. Big swirls and knots and clouds of them. So bright they hurt to look at. When you're in space, when you're in it, space looks like the biggest firework display ever, except it's on pause. It looks like freeze-frame fireworks. Even if you're completely doomed, you've got to be impressed. The only bad thing about the view is it doesn't include Earth. We haven't seen it since we rolled out of orbit. I said to the others, well, it must be somewhere. We're probably just facing the wrong way. We'll find it, definitely. But that didn't seem to calm them down. One of them, Samson 2, drew me a diagram to prove that even if we're facing the wrong way, we should still be able to see it. I said, so what are you saying? That we've fallen into some magic wormhole and come out on the other side of the universe? Possibly. That the whole Earth just vanished, that it's gone? Possibly. They all screamed until they wore themselves out, and then they went to sleep. At least, sleep uses less oxygen. I have tried to imagine that there's someone on the other end of this phone, someone unusually quiet. I've also tried to make an actual phone calls, but I sort of thought the signal might be better up here, being near the satellites, but it doesn't seem to work like that. Okay, that is chapter 2. So, quite a bang to the start of the book. A 13-year-old boy. Okay, that is in space. So we learn quite a lot about the character in there. And what I want you to think about is, after listening to those first 2 chapters, what do we now know? Okay, so what do you think, what are your likes about this book? What are your dislikes about this book? What is puzzling you? Have you got any questions that you can add? Okay, and any similarities? Have you ever watched a film or read a book that is like this at all? So we've done this before, so what I want you to do is complete the grid. Okay, so likes, what you like about this book, what you think you're going to like about this book, what you think you might dislike about the book, or what you dislike about what we've heard so far. Any questions that you've got, anything that you're not sure about, okay? And any similarities. So anything that you think is similar to something you've read or watched before. Okay, so have a go. So 2 things you're sending in today: your initial predictions, okay, and then this grid here, completed and sent in on Class Dojo, and I look forward to seeing that later.